Okay, hello and welcome to Itbonenut, Jewish Psychology. Let's talk today about healing our relationship with our parents and removing emotional blockages that we have. What are we talking about? Most people have some kind of issue with their parents. They remember something in the way their parents grew them up, and this thing bothers them. And they think that they have emotional blockages or mental blockages that came from their parents and from the way they were raised up. There are those who think, there's people that think that there are people that really, sometimes with justice, they think about that. It was true. They think that their parents were too much egocentric. They dealt too much with themselves and they couldn't see them, the children. And so they are very upset about their parents, that they were so concentrated with themselves, so egocentric. And there are those, and few of us that think that our parents gave more to our brothers, or there were too much criticism in our house. They criticized everything and they were too much judgmental, and it was so hard to live. You thought that whatever you're doing, somebody will criticize you. So they have an open issue in that way. And there are those who think that their parents were too much bitter, and that's why I am lack of happiness in my life. And it's very hard for me to bring happiness to my life. And there are those who think that they went through traumas, and the parents couldn't see the traumas that they are going through. Even doesn't matter if the trauma was something very specific, or something that occasioned something they were going through, or a period of time. It was very subjective. Nothing really happened, but it was all in their mind. But their parents couldn't see them, and they are so frustrated with their parents. So they have issues with their parents. How can I overcome that? How can I say to myself, okay, I have boundaries. I have emotional boundaries and blockages that I have inside of me. I cannot break through, and I'm putting all the one that is in charge are my parents, and I do not take any responsibility for the situations, because I see them as responsible. So one of the most important things in Judaism is to know how to let go. And one of the fifth commandment in the Jewish, in the 10 commandments is to give respect to your father and to your mother in order that you will have long life. The secret of longevity is giving respect to your parents. What does it mean? So our question today is, how can I overcome issues with my parents? And how can overcome issues with my parents can help me solve blockages, emotional blockages. This is the topic that we are going to understand today, and going to penetrate into it and see what it means to us. So we said the fifth commandment in the 10 commandments was a human being must give respect. A Jew must give respect to his parents. What if his parents weren't good to him? They did some terrible things. Before that, let's say, why should you give respect to your parents? If you give respect to your parents because they were good to you, they helped you for 20 years, they gave you everything. So it's like you give them back. It's a very natural thing. It's nothing that is unique to parents and children. You gave me something. You were good to me. Now I have to be good to you. It's like, it's an obvious thing. It's a very moral thing to do. If you do not do that, you are not a more human being. You are someone that only care about himself. So it's not a commandment, such an high commandment that's unique to parents and children. But if my parents weren't good for me, they were lousy parents, too much concentrated with themselves. They were, we said, bitter. Oh, they didn't give me enough. They couldn't. They thought they are caring about me, but they only cared about themselves. And I don't know parents that didn't do some kind of a scratch to their child. Each parent, the only perfect parents that there are those that you do not know. Each parent have some kind of issue with himself, and sometimes he import this issue to his child. So the question, if my parents weren't good, How should I treat them? Why should I give them respect? Why should I? And Maimonides says, how much respect, to how far you should give respect to your parents, to what extent you should give respect to your parents, and he's explaining that, is giving that in Maimonides, one of the most important Jewish sages, says like that. He says, if your parent is standing, you do not stand in his place, and you do not sit in his place, and you do not contradict his words, whatever he says, and you do not even call him his name, but my father, my master, something like that. It's like, it's some kind of ancient way to call your father. And he said, what is respect? You give him food and drink, and you cover him. And if he does not have money, and you have the money, if you can sustain him, you have to give him. You have to help him. Even if you do not want to give him money, you must. You are obliged to. You're obliged to help your parents, and it's like vice versa. The whole idea is that our parents will give us money, and now I have to give him money. And he's asking, to what extent you should give him respect, even if he did a terrible thing. It's like he took your money and he's throwing it to the sea, and he's embarrassing you in front of other people. You should accept what he did and be silent, say nothing. And it's so hard. It's so hard because so many times I want to scream on my parents. Why you acting like that? Why you did that? Why didn't act otherwise? Why you do not listen to me? Why someone needs to scream? Why needs to yellow? Why? Because he feels that nobody hears him. If I feel that you are hearing me, I do not need to scream. So he's saying like that, even if you are sitting, you became an important person, and you are sitting instead in front of an audience. It's like today you can think about YouTube. You are sitting in front of YouTube, and your parents and your father tear apart your clothes and shamed you in front of anyone of your audience, of the people that came to listen to you. Still, you will be silenced, and you won't answer, and you will be afraid of the King of Kingdom, the God, that He commanded you to give your parents respect. And the question is still, why? Why should I give respect? Today respect is differently than 1,000 years ago, but why should I give respect to parents? They didn't do really to help me. They didn't do what I thought. I went to... Every year you do azkara. In Hebrew, it's like memorizing your parents. And I went to some kind of a ceremony like that. And a friend of mine lost his father a few years ago. And he said through this ceremony, I had the privilege to grow up next to this tremendous father that I had. After he finished speaking, I asked him, you really intended what you are saying? You really believe that you had the privilege to live near such a tremendous father? Unbelievable. Most of us does not think like that on our parents. It's like, okay, I have a parent, I have a father, but it's something it's unnatural, something very unique to hear. He said, I'll tell you the truth. When I was young, I had a lot of issues with my father. I was upset on him so much. I have a lot of difficulties with him. Only when I became myself a parent, only then I realized how much he had to conquer himself, to overcome his obstacles, his mental obstacles to be a good father, how hard it was for him. And only then I started, from retrospective, to really see how effort he brought to his parenthood, and how good father he was, and how I was, and how I am privileged now that I had the opportunity, that I have the zchut, I have the merit to live next to him. And still, we do not get the question. We do not get the right answer. The answer to the question should be, what should be the answer to the question, why should I give respect to my parents? Okay, it's one perspective, because they have their own issues, they have their own struggle, they are struggling, but why still I need to give them respect? Okay, I see it, I understand it, but still I think he could do better. So I don't have still the answer. What is the real answer? Let's go for a moment to the perspective of the parents. The commandment to give respect to your parents is not for the parents. It's not because a good parent should not be in the center. A parent that is offended from his child, that is has expectations from his child, that is asking them, why didn't you come to visit me, and is in a bit angry about his child. Who is in the center? Now he is in the center. When he is in the center, he'll stop being a parent. Now he's not a parent. Now he's like the child. A parent, the whole idea of a parent, we wrote that in the book, The Art of Elevation, that was translated, I think I told you, to Chinese, not yet to English, even though we started at Stanford University. And the whole idea of being a parent is that you have to help your child to discover his inner attributes. And when you are thinking about your interest or about yourself or about your emotions, you are not thinking about how to discover his attributes, his inner powers. You think about how you get, not how you influence him in the right direction, how you help him discover his inner attributes. And whenever you put yourself in the center, wherever you are egocentric, you are stop being a parent. Because instead of seeing what he really needs, not what he wants, what he really needs, you are now losing him. So the idea of parenting is to see what your child needs and to help him achieve that. And in order to do that, you should not be in the center. And when you are upset or you are angry or you feel, or even when you feel blame, or you're falling into self-accusation. I was a bad parent, how I acted, how I treated them. Still, it's all about you. It's not about them, because your child never needs you in a blame mode or in self-accusation, because it's all about you. So you're still getting back to the place. What was, how I was as a parent, how I acted as a parent. So we get back to the question, and we still do not have an answer to the question. We said respect. A parent cannot ask for respect, cannot ask for he should run away from the respect. This is not, the respect is not for him. So why should we give respect to the parent if it's not for him? And he should not wish for the respect. The answer is that the respect is for the child himself, for us. When I give respect to my parents, even though I know they scratched me a little bit, they weren't the perfect parents, only then I become I let loose of my inner boundaries. What does it mean? Each one of us has issues, as we said at the beginning, with our parents. When I ready to give them respect, even though I know they weren't the perfect parents, only then I'm ready to what? To take responsibility, to say to myself, okay, I can change myself. I stop accusing my parents of everything that happens to me, and I let go, and I start to overcome, to see different things. I don't say, okay, whatever I've been through, and that's what I am, that's why I am like that, and I cannot do nothing with that. If you want to change something, go to my parents. That's the way they raised me. That's why I'm so concentrated in myself. No, when I give them respect, I say, I want to see goodness in my life. I take responsibility. I do not blame my parents anymore. It's a way that I'm getting up a flag. I'm putting a flag in the air that says I am not a victim anymore. I'm not a victim of the way my parents educated me and gave me and raised me. I'm not a victim of nothing. I stopped being victimized myself, because whenever you are a victim, you cannot grow up. You cannot develop yourself. You cannot discover your inner attributes, your inner powers. And only when you take responsibility of reality, you can see the good things in reality. That's why Ramban, one of our sages, says like that. He says, you have to give respect to your parents, because it's like it comes from you giving respect to godliness, to your creator. It's from the same place. You give respect to the one that created you. your parents, and they were partners to the Creator, to God. So together they created you. Why do you give respect to God when you have lousy life and things do not go in the right trajectory for you, and you feel that everything is collapsing? Because only when you give respect, and respect, it's a low word. Oh, it's a better word. In Hebrew, yirah, it's like there is a low O and a high O. A high O is that I really appreciate something, that I'm stopped being an independent reality, that it's not all about me, that I see that in the reality that I'm going through, in the art trajectory that I'm facing, and it's always subjective. It's always from the eye of the one that contemplate. Sometimes you have a wonderful life, but you cannot see it because it's of your inner struggling. So only when I say to myself, okay, I understand things are not going so well for me, but if I can wake up in the morning and say thanks for everything, and see the benefits of everything that I'm going through, and take responsibility and give respect to the only one that creates for me every moment, only then I can grow up and I can be mature, and I start taking, as we said, responsibility. And then what do you get? What is the result when you give respect to your parents? You have a longer life. You win longevity. You know who is shortening his life? The one that is victim. The one that is always suffering because he's losing something, and he had to get that, and he had to get that, and nobody pay attention to him. Only when I give respect to my Creator, I say, okay, when I give respect, I say, respect from the higher standpoint. Only when I give respect, I say, this reality is not against me. There are so many positive things in it. And from here, I can grow. And when I give respect to my parents, I say, okay, whatever I've been through wasn't like things that got me down, and now I cannot develop from that. Now, from what I've been through, I can raise myself and start develop myself. So the whole idea of respect is for myself. And without giving respect, I am like continue to be the victim of what I didn't get. So in order to show yourself that you are no more a victim, you are no more old with your inner boundaries, you should give respect to your parents. Okay, you are more than welcome to join us in this channel. We are trying to, and I will appreciate any comment. And I try to upload more videos in Hebrew. We are uploading almost every day. We are dealing with Jewish psychology, with all kind of perspective, anxiety and depression, and how to see yourself, and how to discover your inner attributes, and how to fulfill to be more innovative, and to discover how you could be discover potential. So you're more than welcome to subscribe. See you in the next video.